Good evening and welcome. You're watching Trending Tonight with me, Sanket Upadhyay. The corona concern is back. It never went anywhere, but it is back again. Cases are on the rise again. The R effective or the R factor is rising again. And we are trying to reopen schools. One really does not understand how this is working. Let's take a look at the numbers first. 42,625 fresh cases over the past 24 hours. This is up 39.52%. Deaths have been reported in the past 24 hours are at 562. That is up 33%. The recovery rate presently is at 97.37. The daily positivity rate is at 2.31%, remains below 5%, which is good. But you see, all the other indicators point at something different, perhaps an uptick. So while the positivity rate is half of the point where it should become a concern, 5%, look at for instance, the R factor. And let's take a look at the states where the R factor is very high. So on 4th of August 2021, the overall India R factor is at 1.02. Anything above 1 is a huge reason to worry. Then you've got Kerala, which is at 1.13, Jammu and Kashmir, which is at 1.11, Karnataka at 1.06, Madhya Pradesh at 1.01, and Haryana also at the same level. This is a cause of concern. The R factor has to be below 1. And that's not the case. In fact, weekly cases are rising in 10 states in this country. And that's the map on your screen right now, where the positivity rate is high. Look at the percentage change over the previous week, 6.1% up. And those are the states of concern that you can see on your screen right now. These are all indicators that we must be worried. We must take action. In fact, our vaccination rate should increase. Let's see if we have one of those graphics on vaccinations. We'll come to them in just a short moment. But the weekly positivity rate, thankfully, remains below 5%. It was 2.4% today. 1 week ago, it was 2.4%. 2 weeks ago, 2.1%. 4 weeks ago at 2.4%. So this is a 7-day moving average. Look at the other indicators, and this is a huge cause of concern. And how do you fix this? By vaccinating. But what is our vaccination equation? The required vaccination rate right now should be, to meet the 31st December deadline, 9.8 million a day. What is the actual vaccination in the last 7 days? 5 million a day. Not good. Not good. We are about 4.8 million per day behind schedule. And just like a cricket strike rate, this is going to, the run rate, beg your pardon, this is going to keep increasing if we don't increase our vaccination rate. So these are causes of concern, huge cause of concern. Let's put this to our guests, Dr. Sunila Garg, member of the Lancet Commission of the COVID India Task Force, Dr. Sarnam Singh, Director of AIIMS Bhopal, Dr. Deep Debarma, Nodal Officer of COVID in Tripura, Dr. Vishal Rao, Dean of the Center for Academic Research, SCG Cancer Center, Dr. Anish, Member Expert Panel for COVID-19 in Kerala, and Dhruva Chaudhary, Professor and Chair Pulmonary and Critical Care Medicine in Rohtak. Thank you very much. I would like to begin with you, Dr. Garg. These indicators, how big a reason are they to worry?
Basically, they are pointed towards, that means that we have to be cautious about the number of cases which are increasing. We have got 44 districts basically in which the number of cases are more than 10%, and that means the seropositivity is more than 10%, and that came down from 46 to 44. But then you rightly pointed out that there are, R naught is more than 1 in about 8 states. That is important part to remember. And then another thing which is there is that not 10, but it is actually the 15 states in which the number of cases have, in 10 states the number of cases have risen more, but in 5 states the number of cases have risen slightly. And in Manipur already the central team has gone. But the important part is that we have to look at this issue from the two perspectives. One is as you rightly pointed out about the immunization coverage, which we have done is of 48 crores, but also we have to see the results of our Sero Survey 4, which has happened, and which I'll tell you that basically if I was to look at very low immunization coverage at Andhra Pradesh, there 26.58, but then the seropositivity is about 70.2%. So that is another thing which we have to take into consideration. So along with the vaccination part, we have to see the seropositivity which was there in our Sero Survey 4. So that means, if our Sero Survey is high in those states, we don't have to worry much about, because you see natural infection is much more better, and people can, wait for immunization for more than 8 months and even for more than a year, because memory cells are already primed. So, if we are cautious, and that means we are avoiding, the super spreader events, we are avoiding, basically any kind of activity, and, following testing, treating, tracking, that will be one of the important things.
Sure.
And you also pointed about, schools. One thing which I like to say is that the cost of developmental delays, which have happened in last 2 years, they are going to be much higher than the COVID infection in children, because in children, in both the waves, the infection has been in less than 10 years has been.
No, I understand that point, Dr. Garg, but these children will also come back home with the elderly, and while a large number of them have been vaccinated, there is this whole theory of the vaccination wearing out or the antibodies reducing, and we still don't have booster shots in this country. So
no, they're already, if you will see that in children also the seropositivity is more than 60%.
Correct.
Sitting at home, they got, the seropositivity of more than 60%. And then another thing which I will say is that they go to play, they go to the uncle's house, they go to hill stations. That we have to, gradually plan out about school opening, particularly starting with very young children, because they have less ACE inhibitors, so infection is lesser and they recover faster. So these are some of the important things which you have to consider.
Right. Dr. Anish, let's talk about Kerala. We've seen that on many of these key indicators and markers, Kerala is again, a bit of a challenge. How are you looking at this? What exactly is the government doing? And can you contain this, perhaps possibly a third wave? Can you contain it, given these challenges?
Actually, if you look at Kerala's data, of the national government data itself, it speaks well that Kerala's strategy was pretty good, because the seroprevalence survey was showing only 44%, irrespective of the high vaccination coverage in the state. If you look at the vaccination, it has got more than average that of an Indian state. But if you look at the seroprevalence, it is less than the average Indian state. That means the infections were much less in Kerala. And we are actually paying for the price now. I think Kerala is trying to catch up with an average Indian state in terms of the number of people infected. So it is better we vaccinate people so that the number of infections may not turn to be severe infections and death. That is one thing that we have to do. And again, it is actually a concern that Kerala is reporting a large number of cases, and if some other variant, as you know that the second wave was because of Delta variant, and Delta is just like chickenpox, and it will affect all those people. And as Madam Garg was saying previously, a significant proportion of Indian population may be protected from Delta by now. But if there is some genetic variations are happening, sometimes it may be problematic. So you have to check the numbers definitely, and that we can do in Kerala is, one thing is we have to get vaccinations, and second one is I think Kerala is moving for another strategic change, and because we have to balance all these things. If you go to more and more containment, and people will suffer and the economic prosperity will be going out. So these things should be in a balanced state, and we have to think about our country also.
Sure.
And we have to live also.
Dr. Deep, what has your experience been in your state, and how can this be contained? The all important question of vaccination, and there was a reason why it was thought that even this 30th 31st of December deadline is going to be a bit too late. We need to vaccinate fast, say by Diwali, to be able to avoid the sort of surge we saw in the second wave.
Yes, it is correct. Regarding the vaccination point of view, one thing we must keep in mind that vaccination does not mean that we can contain the spread of the virus. Vaccination means the protection of the individual and the protection of the community, including the herd immunity, which is developed by the natural infection. It is important. Vaccination reduces the severity of the disease. That is the point. And for contain the spread of the disease, it is the COVID appropriate behavior and the personal education is much important. It is very important for contain the spread of the virus. This is the thing. For my state, I would like to inform that we almost covered with the first dose of the vaccination with almost 75% of the total population. And Tripura is one of the leading states in the country, which is going in a very rapid vaccination campaign. And every month we are campaigning like a special drive. And our high-level bureaucrats with involvement of the Honorable Chief Minister, he directly himself monitored the vaccination drive. So that gives a very good impact in our state because the mortality rate in the first wave and after the start of the vaccination, it is a huge difference. So vaccination drive and vaccination much will reduces the mortality. But we must remember that it does not contain the transmission of the virus. Transmission of the virus will definitely go by its own course, and for this transmission containment, we have to look only by the COVID appropriate behavior.
Okay. Mr. Dhruv Chaudhary is also with us. How would you, Mr. Chaudhary, look at the manner in which the R factor is increasing, the cause of concern in specific states, and again the crucial question on vaccination? Because I feel that this, while Dr. Deep is right in saying that it's not going to contain the virus, but at least it is going to stop a second wave sort of a situation. What's your experience been?
Sanket, I think everybody is right what they are saying, because we are putting, I think R0 is important, or the R number or R factor, but everything will not depend upon the R factor, because two things are ratios which are important, which I as a clinician look at it, besides being as a public health person, is the number of cases and the severity of the cases, because these are the three things which will come together and we'll talk about it. And in the second wave, what had happened was, there was a sudden surge and again along with the severity of the cases. So he is right that way, that probably R factor is there, which will tell us whether the pandemic is going up or down. But what is important now is for us to know the districts where it is coming up, so that the micromanagement can be done at that particular level, so that the pandemic can be exposed. By and large number of our people are exposed to Delta virus. And again, Dr. Sunila Garg is there. She can also vouch for it, that when we talk in terms of it, we talk in terms of susceptibility, we look in terms of how many number of people have been exposed. This is one of the models, infected and recovered. So that's the standard model which has been used in terms of calculating all that. So I think the total susceptible population is relatively less. And secondly, government may have to tweak in order to reduce the susceptibility of the people which we are talking by vaccination. Because you can only do either you get an infection or you get have a vaccination. Probably they may have to really look at it, that 25% number which is there with the private sector, if they want to increase more vaccine into the system. Because the data consistently...
No, but today the government has said that in case the manufacturers are not being able to sell their 25%, it's not compulsory to go only for 25%. You can give the rest to the government only.
I think
I think the argument being made by the government is the other way around.
Yeah, you see, they are saying the same thing, but they are trying to twist it around because they are allowing the private sector to play a part. But now what we are seeing at the field is, even like a city like Chandigarh, even a city like Gurgaon, where you are seeing private sector has come up, initial phase has come now, practically, hospital is using, and I am getting call from them, that how to use our quota which is there. I think time has come that probably we need to relook at it and increase the total number of vaccines. Like in my home state, we have vaccinated nearly 1 crore 36 lakh people who have got at least one. And today, the decision has been taken that our priority will be that those people who have been given one vaccination actually get further second vaccination so that they are fully protected. So, because reason is simple, that the Delta variant, the vaccines which are there with a single shot are only effective not more than 30%. Therefore, if we take into account the number of people we are talking in terms of serosurface showing 67%
Sure.
in India, but I think that is in a limited number of places. In each state, like in Delhi, we see the numbers are high. In our state, we are now going ahead with the district-wise, around 36,000 patients.
Yeah.
So that will give us an idea where we can actually prioritize to reduce the spread. And
Sure.
the states which are there, the districts they are there, as very rightly said, they have
Sure,
to
Dr. Chaudhary.
They have to go for it.
Yeah,
And Kerala,
Dr. Rao, I want to
say-
come to you now. Dr. Rao, see, as far as, of course,
Shankar.
apart from you sharing the experience in Karnataka, I want to ask you this question on a booster shot of the vaccination. Because now all those frontline workers who were vaccinated first, the elderly who were vaccinated first, there are increasing number of reports now coming in that the antibodies are now wearing thin, or it is wearing off. In that case, while we are still struggling with our vaccination rate, will this not also become a big challenge, particularly for the frontline workers?
Thank you, Sangeet. I agree totally. In the current context, if you look at Karnataka now, our positivity rate has remained at around 1%. However, when you look at the district clusters, some of the districts are showing trends towards an increased positivity rate. So like the earlier panelist spoke, I think it's very important to look at the R factor and parallelly look at the total positivity rate. And from our previous experience, what we know is the critical number is going to be 5%. Now in Karnataka, if you look at the March-April trends this year, the March beginning, the positivity rate by end of March, 4%, and quickly in April, it crossed 5%, by end of April reaching 25%. Now this is a very clear trend of how Delta behaves. And our vaccination rate, if you look at Karnataka today, the single dose in 18 to 45 is at around 33% and above 45 is at 73%. So we still have a long way to go. And currently in our belief and what we are looking at science, the booster dose may not be necessary at the current time. Now there are reasons for that. The US FDA has also answered this question based on Pfizer's data and others saying that booster dose may not be required. And there are a couple of reasons for that. The concerns of waning immunity is a concern, but if you look at the original strain, it was created, the vaccines have been created using the D614G strain. And currently we know that there is a constant change of the landscape of mutations. So at this juncture, there is no evidence to show that a booster dose or a modified vaccine is absolutely necessary. However, if the spread continues and if the mutations continue to change and new variants continue to occur, the coming days, we may have a reality that we may require either a booster dose or a modified vaccine altogether.
Correct. Dr. Singh, Director AIIMS Bhopal is also with us. Dr. Singh, we saw the challenges, right? One is, of course, to make sure that there is no wave. But if there were to be one, now there are certain experts who say that it's going to be muted, not as loud as or as pronounced as the second wave. But Dr. Singh, in terms of our preparation, do you think that we have been able to learn from our experiences of wave number 2, particularly in states like Madhya Pradesh?
Yeah, Sanketji, thank you. And as the other speakers, they told that, we have to have the multi-pronged approach. There are several questions which are still not answered fully, and the whole world is struggling and trying to analyze the data and seeing the behavior, how the virus is making inroads in the new populations as well as those who are already vaccinated. So definitely that is a concern. And as the previous speaker also said that there are, earlier we thought that if we vaccinate about 60%, which is typical textbook teaching that we will have the herd immunity, but the having 60 to 70% single vaccine, there is another question on one side that, probably we are having only 30% protection. So, if you calculate 30% of the single dose people, they will be very minuscule. But also, as the earlier speaker told, that this is also another evidence coming up that probably the second, the booster dose, probably you need to prolong the gap, and so that, by the time the first dose vaccine effect, builds up, you can boost it up again. So there are many things they are going up, but the bottom line, I think, is that, virus is mutating, and as previously spoke by another, panelist, that definitely the virus is mutating. Earlier we thought that, our Covaxin is very good because it is having a whole virus and it is inactivated. But now we do know that the spike protein behavior has changed. So earlier in another discussion, I also suggested to ICMR that probably the seed, what we call when, you use a new virus. So probably we need to change our seed of the vaccine seed, what we call. So the previous, the vaccine lot, which was started with the alpha strain, now probably we need to look at it, and then probably the delta seed may be more effective. But as far as the mRNA vaccine or the DNA vaccine, because most of these vaccines, they are made from the either Wuhan strain or alpha strain. So that is also very important. But again, I would say that, we have to think of the multi-pronged approach, because, we know that any time the second wave, as you are apprehending, we all must apprehend that any time we can have the situation like second wave, and it will be really disaster, because many of the things, as I said, we have to learn. We are learning the virus is such a thing, because it has fooled many of us and multiple times. And definitely the good thing is that, even though it comes back, but probably those who are vaccinated, we will have less severity. So the crisis which we had, like of oxygen and the bed availability, probably that I see some consolation that probably we might not have that.
No, let's hope that happens.
We should have,
The bigger worry is whether, we are only hoping that the problem that we faced in the second wave will not occur. Let's just hope we have learned. Because the first time when the second wave happened, I clearly remember the then health minister said, well, we've learned from phase, the wave 1 experience. Clearly we did not. So have we really learned from phase 2 experience or wave 2 experience?
That is going
to be the big question.
We have to learn many things. We have to still, and the virus behaves very differently every time. So we don't know, frankly.
Okay, very quickly, Dr. Chaudhary wanted to come in.
I think we have learned our lesson very well. The governments are extremely serious. And I can assure you that not only one, but all state governments, the government of India, we have been taking a very regular appraisal of it. And one thing I can very certain now, you will not see a shortage of oxygen. You will not see a shortage of blood.
Let's hope so.
We hope.
Not just oxygen, sir, even medicines, injections.
But I am reasonably certain. But what we are trying is that what we did in the first time, we blunted the curve. Here we were not able to blunt the curve in the second wave. Everything came during short point of time.
Sure.
But the good part, as Dr. Sarman Singh has said it, I agree with him. And we must remember one thing. Another policy thing we need to do, and that is what our colleagues have to see the National Expert Panel, that already those who have got COVID, do they really need vaccine right now? Because that will also liberate a large number of vaccines in the market. So I think we need to look at, we are learning also, these are dynamic and adaptive changes which are happening.
Okay.
And we want answer on day one. I have been repeatedly saying, everything is running parallel. The answers which we used to get in 5 to 10 days, we want answers in 1 year. That is why we sometimes
yes, and you're also right that the research in science is actually research in motion as far as COVID is concerned. So things keep changing, and that's the nature of the research as far as this invisible devil is concerned. Thank you very much to all of you all. With that, it's a wrap in this edition of Trending Tonight. Remember, the virus is still out there, strong and invisible, and it is mutating. Good night and goodbye.